welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be making these beautiful mesh pants. So if you like what you see, continue to keep watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye! The things you'll need for this project: I used a weight 3 yarn and a 4.25mm hook. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 2. Now we are going to do a single crochet foundation chain because I like this better. I love crochet hacks. So you're going to insert your hook into the first chain, pull up a loop, wrap your yarn, pull through the first loop, wrap your yarn again, and pull through both loops. And now you have just made a single crochet foundation chain. So we are going to insert our hook again, and make sure you get the first little braid and the back piece little braid. I had to shove my hook in there. My tension is so tight, so I'm always shoving my hooks into the spaces because I just make them so tight. So now we see that there's the braid is on the hook. We're going to wrap our yarn, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn again, pull through the first loop, wrap the yarn one more time, and pull through both loops. So I'm going to show you how to do this a few more times. Now you want to make a waistband 2 inches less than the measurement of your waist because this does stretch a lot. It stretches really far. So we're going to make this as long as our waist minus 2 inches because it's going to stretch. If you want it to be super tight, minus 4 inches. And now I'm going to show you how we join. So you're going to prepare yourself like you're making another foundation chain. So inserting, pulling up a loop, and then you're going to find the end. And do you see where our very first chain stitch is? The very first chain stitch that we made before we made our single crochet foundation chain. We are going to find that and insert in, wrap the yarn, pull through the first loop. Just like that. Wrap the yarn, pull through both loops. So we're not completely done yet. We're going to find the very first stitch, and now we're going to slip stitch in the top of that stitch. And now we have joined our single crochet foundation chain in the round. So now we are going to make our loops for our drawstring. We're going to chain 2, turn our work, prepare for a double crochet, double crochet into the second stitch. Then we're going to chain 3 and skip 3 stitches. Insert a double crochet into the 4th stitch after the 3 that you skipped, and now we're going to put 2 more double crochets beside it. So it works in 3s. We're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, skip 3, 3 double crochets, chain 3, skip 3. The first chain 2 counted as a stitch. So chain 3, skip 3, and place a double crochet. We're going to do that all the way till we get to the end. When we get to the end, I'll show you how I finished it. All right, so now we're coming up on the end. So you want to chain 3, find your last stitch, not where the chain 2 is coming out of, the stitch beside it. Place a double crochet and then slip stitch. Chain up 2 again, flip our work, and now we're just going to do a row of double crochet over the spaces. So in the spaces we're going to put 3 double crochet. Now in the space we're going to place 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and our last double crochet. And we're going to put double crochets in every double crochet in the previous row. And we are also going to do this all the way until we get to the end as well. Alright, so coming up on the end of this, we're going to place our last 3 double crochets in our space. And you see how the chain 2 is coming out of the next space. That's not where we're going to put anything. We're going to slip stitch to the top, slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 5 and we're about to begin our mesh. So my tension is super tight, and so I have to treble crochet and skip 2. So that is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to wrap the yarn twice around my hook, skip 2 spaces, and treble crochet into the 3rd space, because my mesh don't look like mesh when I chain 1, skip 1. My tension is so tight that it's just too small of a stitch, and I wanted this to be a very visible mesh stitch. So now we're going to chain 2, wrap our hook twice, skip 2 spaces, and in the 3rd space we are going to place our treble crochet. So wrap yarn, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, and we're going to wrap the yarn one more time and pull through 2, chain 2, wrap twice, skip 2, insert, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, insert, pull through 2. Ooh, pull. Yep, you guys, you got it. I'm tripping over my words, but you know what I'm saying. Just like that. If you need to see it again, just rewind this video. Same technique. Alright, so we're at the end of this where our chain 2 is. This was kind of messed up. I didn't have enough stitches at the end, so instead of skipping 2, I skipped 1 so that my last stitch by my join wouldn't look wonky, if that makes any sense. You won't notice this not having 2, but you will notice the last stitch not having 2. So you always want to join with a chain 2. You never want to end with a double crochet beside it, because you want this mesh, the last mesh stitch. The last mesh stitch. Chain up 5 again. Turn your work. Wrap your yarn, insert, and treble crochet. did 4 rows before I started my increase. So we are placing on top of the treble crochet in the previous row. Just like that. Alright, so now that you have created 4 rows, we're going to increase. We are going to work 9 mesh stitches before we increase. So we're going to work our way down 9 mesh stitches. Fast forward so we can get there. Alright, so this is our 9th stitch. So after our 9th mesh stitch, we are going to chain 2 and we are going to place a treble crochet right in the space beside it. Like that, chain 2. Place another treble crochet on top of the previous one. Chain 2. Place a treble right in the space, chain 2 again, and place your last treble. So the increase creates 4 mesh stitches, as you're going to see. So once you chain 2 again, this mesh stitch counts as your 9, part of your 9. So this is the first stitch of your 9. See how there's 4 over there for the increase, and then the first stitch of our 9. So now we're going to chain 2, we're going to count down 9 spaces, and we're going to continue to increase. So you're going to create 9 mesh, then you're going to increase 9 mesh, increase 9 mesh, increase. So although this clip is of us being on the 2nd row, I'm going to talk a little bit. You're going to increase every other row for a total of 3 rows of increase only. For my size small, I only did 3 rows of increase. So after my 4, I increased, did a regular row, increased, did a regular row, increased again, and then did 7 regular rows. Alright, so this is just me showing you how you're going to work over your increase row. You're just going to place a treble crochet on top of the other trebles. So now we're just adding stitches to our pattern to make it wider. So I did a row count to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like you're going to start with 4 normal rows, and then there's going to be 2 normal rows in between your 3 increase rows, and 7 rows after the last increase to make your total of 16 rows before the crotch. So now we're going to start the crotch. We're going to find not really the middle, but because we're starting at the join, our crotch is going to be 4 spaces long. So you just want to match up on the other side where this would make it even. I have no numbers. I just lined them up together and picked the 4 that I thought would make it the most even. So we're chaining 5. We're inserting. Chain 2. Insert. Treble. Alright, chain 2, treble again. Then chain 2 and treble one more time. All right, after this treble, we're going to chain 5, flip our work, and work our way down. So I did 9 rows for the crotch before I joined them together. And if I didn't say it before, you always want to join into the 3rd chain whenever you're joining. That's why we create 5, so there'll be 2 on each end, and you can join in the middle, which is the 3rd one. Alright, so now that we have our 9, we are going to join. Make sure your project is inside out because you don't want to see this when you flip it around. You want this place to be hidden. So we're going to join with a slip stitch in the very first stitch to just secure the yarns together, just like that. But now we are going to single crochet in the spaces, and we're going to single crochet in the treble spaces together. So 2 single crochets in the space, join the trebles together with a single crochet, and then also placing more single crochets in the mesh stitches to follow. So we are just joining the crotch piece to our base piece, and after this you are going to want to flip your work, turn it inside out, because we are going to be crocheting on the right side, but we're joining on the wrong side. After your last join, it's going to look like this. See, this is not what you want to see when you're working. That's why you want to make sure you're on the wrong side. So now we are going to chain up 5 because we're going to start one of our pant legs. And we're going to flip our work inside out. So I skipped the clip because inside out took some work. So this is what we have. This is what we're looking like. If you want to stop here and just make mesh shorts, you could, but I want to make the pants. So I'm going to find which direction I want to go to. So I went to the left, wrap the yarn twice, and doing it all over again, the same thing. There's no increases in the beginning of the pant legs, and we start decreasing at the end of the pant leg. So I stopped increasing for this project. I was done increasing. Just gonna work the pant leg all the way down. So the first rows that we're going to do before we start decreasing total is 14. So we're going to do 14 rows after the crotch, and on the 15th row is when we're going to decrease. So there's nothing to this but working the same pattern, and I show you what I do when I get to the corner piece. I don't skip it. I place a treble crochet there, just like that, chain 2, and keep it going till we get to the end. We join, chain up 5, turn our work, and keep going. So this is where we're joining into the third chain with the slip stitch. See how I'm always ending on a chain 2 before I join to make those stitches. Now we're going to chain up 5, turn our work, and again work 14 rows down. On the 15th row we are going to decrease. Alright, so here we are coming up on our decrease row. We are chaining 5, turning our work after our 14 rows of regular treble mesh stitches, and we are going to count 7 stitches, and after the 7th stitch we're going to chain 2 and skip a mesh stitch and put it into the next one. So you're going to see we're working our way down 7. Alright, so now we are coming up on our skip decrease. So we're going to skip that treble and place it into the next one. So we worked our way down 7 mesh stitches, and then we skipped, and now we're putting our mesh stitch in the next one beside it, chaining 2. So you see a skip space, chaining 2, working down 7, skipping, and then doing the same thing over and over again. So I did a total of 7 decrease rows every other row. So after my 15th, I did a regular row, then I decreased, then a regular row, then I decreased, then a regular row, and then I decreased. So now I'm going to show you how I crochet over the decrease. There's nothing to it. We're just going to place our treble crochet in the treble crochets. So we're placing that there, just like that. And then we're going to chain 2 and place our next one right there. So your normal rows are literally normal rows, like you're just going over the new or oats or taking away from the other spaces. Like previously stated, I did 7 rows of decrease in between 6 rows of regular stitches, and then 15 rows to finish out the pant leg. And this is the finished product. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all the support and love I'm getting on this channel. If you guys like what you see, subscribe, share, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.